Welcome back to these little bluebirds. So now I'm working on the babies, and I use the blue feathers are cobalt blue plus white. The brown feathers I'm using burnt sienna plus a little bit of white plus a little bit of my mud. The mud is 2 parts ultramarine blue and 1 part alizarin crimson. Got this guy done. Now for his sibling. So again, they've already been washed in with washes of my cobalt blue plus liquid and burnt sienna plus liquid. Now I'm coming back in and painting them. And the bluebird babies don't yet quite have the full coloration that their mother has. They're just beginning to get some of the burnt sienna, the red-brown feathers on their breast, and so these are juveniles. These aren't just little bitty babies. So they're beginning to get their mature coloration. And you can see I'm using a bright brush. This has a square end, and I can just use the corner of the brush to make those little feathers. And the sunlight's hitting. The sunlight's coming in from the upper left, so the top of this one's head is just a little lighter. And these babies are not real smooth yet, so their feathers are a little bit rough here. A little texture in here. The feathers are still a little bit downy. It won't be long before they've got their full adult coloration. Again, I can just use the corner of that brush to get the detail in there. Their beaks, I've used mixtures of ivory black plus white to make the blacks and the gray in their beaks. And we get some darks up here and here around the beak, and then we also get just some little grays, and just they have a full variety of different colors in here. But again, I can use the corner of that brush, that big brush, I can use that corner to just give my little feather strokes. I have my reference material, I've printed it out, and I've got it taped to the easel so I can see it right there. This mixture is my cobalt blue plus a little bit of my mud. It just makes a little grayer blue. Again, there's feathers, they're all different combinations of feathers in here, so we get a whole bunch of different coloration. Now I'm using the base color on the breast here is my mud plus white, or white plus a little bit of mud. It's more white than it is mud. But again, I can just use that. I can use the flat edge of that brush to make cover a bigger area. And some of the pink from my flower, I've used permanent rose plus white there. A little bit of that got pulled into his breast or chest there, but that doesn't matter because that color is reflecting back up onto him. So that doesn't matter that we get a little bit of that in there. But we get a little bit of the grays and just the different colors. But some of these grays extend back into what is going to be blue as these little babies get older. You just get little. And then I'm going to add a little bit of the brighter sienna right here because the sunlight's hitting this baby. So this is some of the color that is just starting to come in. The more permanent feathers on this baby. In fact, I'm going to add a little bit on this one's neck over here, just to give us a little bit of that nice warmth. I'm probably cheating a little bit more than there would actually be, but just want to get a little bit of that characteristic color in there. And then we'd have some blue right in here. You can see on the mother that the actual adult coloration of these babies. This probably needs to be just a touch darker right in there. And then some of my darker warm colors extend down in here into, this is mud is mixed into that burnt sienna. It just gives me a little darker, more muted tone. It comes down on his chest here. Keep cleaning my brush. That's the way to keep nice clean color on your canvas, is to have a clean brush. So some of these these little feathers come out here. Just soften that edge. And then under the wing, I take some of my mud and just bring this under the wing. And there's some dark in the, starting to get some dark in these wing feathers. So you'll see that. And then with my cobalt blue plus a little white in it, we start getting some of the feathers here. This extends to his shoulder. And I want a little highlight here that light hits. And these brushes are really good to make that feather shape. Again, that sunlight's coming in this way, so we're going to have a little bit lighter area here. So this is my white. This will all, as these babies get older, these white feathers will disappear. But this right now, this is still part of those baby feathers. And they're just soft. And I'm going to add a little light in here just to highlight his chest here. And bring a little light on my there we go. Now to do her eye, or his eye. Don't really know if this is a boy or a girl, but I take my mud, and this is two parts of ultramarine blue and one part of alizarin crimson. I have mixed this with a little bit of liquid to make it flow easier, and that whole eye, I darken in. I leave the little catch light that I had sketched in there. And now we get a smaller brush here. And this is, the light's coming in from the upper left. You can see this eye here. So we have a little reflected light on, or little trans-illuminated light onto the iris. Want that a little bit bright. Want that to be a little bit darker at the sides. And then in the center where the light comes all the way through, I make this a little bit lighter. Get my brush to hit the right spot. I'm resting my hand on my maul stick. This hooks over the top of my easel, and I can rest my hand there to stabilize it, and I can get close to my canvas, and then I don't. It's almost like I can rest my hand on the canvas, but that gives me a stable base for my hand. So hopefully I don't shake as much. Getting those little details. Okay, now to put the catch light in. This is pure white. You don't want your catch light too big. Actually, I'm just going to go ahead and paint that area out. Now I'm going to put the catch light in. And it is up here. You want it right up under the upper lid. You don't want it in the center of the pupil. When you're painting people, animals, birds, you don't want to put the catch light in the center of the pupil. It makes them look like they're on drugs. And you'll see a lot of you can't always follow your photographs because a lot of times the eye is wet and it's a curved surface and it just picks up highlights from all over the room. So there may be two catch lights in the eye in a photograph, but you can't depend on that. You have to determine where your light source is coming from, and then the light's coming from the upper left. The catch light would be right under the upper lid, and then the illumination on the iris will be then down below, directly across. Jack taught me this method of painting eyes. It's a very simple method, but it really gives them life. The eyes are the soul of any kind of portrait. Animal, bird, person. And then this gets some light. Now this is white here, but I don't want this as bright, so I'm using some of my shadow color. Again, I rest on the maul stick, and I can just... This is a little bit larger area right there. And I want a little bit of my dark blue just right here. And this needs to be a little bit more here, a little more white. Those are just little bitty feathers. Do a little highlight here on the blue. Again, this is cobalt blue plus white. These feathers here, just got that almost too bright. These feathers here are highlighted. The light hits it. Comes here and gets a little darker as we come down here. So there's our little baby, and I really appreciate you watching my YouTube videos. Please subscribe to my channel, and I show the complete step-by-step process of this painting on my blog. A lot of people will say, well gosh, I want to see how this painting finishes out. Well, just go to my blog. The link is in the description below. It's also on the address is also on the final frame of my YouTube video. And so you can go to my blog and see the finished painting. So you have a wonderful, wonderful day and happy painting.